Hello friends, chicos, chicas. In today's video, we are going to sacrifice the entire cavalry. I'm going to present to you today what I like to call the double knight sacrifice in the Sicilian defense. And for this, we are going to go back all the way to the 60s. And we are going to call upon none other than the magician from Riga. And this is gonna be none other than Mihail Tal against Mark Taimanov. The opening is going to be the Sicilian. This double knight sack concept with knight d5 and knight f5 is more or less exclusive to Sicilian variations. Taimanov started off with this weird knight d7, and we're going to transpose into some kind of Najdorf structure slash setup. What I would like to draw your attention to is the fact that white has already completed development, and so such moves like bishop d5 that normally would be out of our vision or scope, or not necessarily on our mind, here come quite handy indeed, because every tempo you can score is going to be really valuable. Taimanov captured, and of course knight takes d5 is now a big fat tempo, attacking the queen. Queenside castles, and boy, do we have a dominant position in the center. Now after e6, of course, because of the knight is under attack, your natural reaction should be, I am not moving it. And indeed f4 is the move. The idea, of course, is the fact that if I play a pass after take knight e5, it's not quite mate yet on the e file, and of course f4 just takes the sails out of black's defense. They can't rely on knight e5 anymore. Now, it is a funny story. It hardly ever happens in the Sicilian that we play knight d5 before a pawn would get to e6. So the sack is usually that e6 is played, and then you chuck the knight in on d5. Here the reverse happened. The knight was already on d5. It got attacked with e6, and then Tal just went like, yeah, nah, not moving that guy away, buddy. In fact, not only is he not moving it away, but after knight c5, we are soon going to arrive at our topic, which is rook e1. Once again, take is entirely out of the question. I just take back king d7. And here I might have a slightly flashy move for you. Who would have thought that Star would sack a queen like this, right? Check, check, check. And this is really setting up for glory. King d8, rook takes. And if I were to go to e8, then rook e1 check, I believe it's going to be absolutely terminal here. King f8, and yeah, if just check takes is good enough. So f6 is probably a must, and at that point, once again, according to the analysis, knight c6 wins. I think everything wins. Beautiful variation there. So the knight can be captured. Taimanov tried to bolster the 7th rank defense, and now comes the second knight saccarino, the topic of our video today. So this is the setup when the pawn is on e6, and it technically can eat either knight, but neither is really advisable. Let's see why not. ED, all over red rover. This variation just got significantly worse from black's perspective, because now the rook is hanging, and we also have got a very attractive looking mate incoming with knight takes d6, so that's no bueno. And e takes f5, is even worse, in fact, because now after king d7 we have Matutsky, and otherwise whatever they drop on the e file, we are going to just take it and walk away with a free win. So Taimanov had to leave the knights on, and of course that was just too much, and he had to play now f6 in order to avoid any other kind of dramas. And after bishop takes, pawn takes, knight takes, this position is completely dead lost for black, who is up 2 pieces, but one is going to be recaptured right now. White has got 3 pawns, but that's not really the essence of it. And by the way, it is something that I would like to really highlight, that the main reason why white is completely winning here is the appalling coordination amongst the black pieces. that is going to allow white to march these pawns up, but the first thing that needs to happen is a complete paralysis of the back army. So now we can't really break through by sheer force and brute force, but we can just casually roll the pawns in all the way. This is, by the way, the rarest form of winning in the Sicilian after a piece sack like that, but it did cut the cheese here. Note how e5 was ignored by Tal, and he just keeps on rolling in. I really like that. Take, and g7, and he had to sack the exchange, or rather an entire rock, to prevent the promotion, and the rest is just easy peasy. Now, I always like to put something recent along with the No Die Classic games, and so I'm going to present a game that I just played a couple of days ago, and my opponent was none other than someone that I really look up to, and someone that I think is an iconic figure in the chess community, and my opponent is none other here than Grandmaster. The I am here is incorrect. Grandmaster Renier Castellanos from Spain. And the reason why he is a legend and an iconic figure that we should all look up to is because he is the ultimate adult improver who managed to score his Grandmaster title at the ripe age of 41. And that just deserves immense respect in my book, because I know how much work it is required to accomplish a GM title. And when you are in your 40s, it's just incredibly difficult. You need to obviously, have a job or maintain yourself one way or another. Most of us have families, so it is just an incredibly arduous task. And yeah, kudos to Renier for doing that. We played a couple of blitz games. Some I lost, some I won. I'm going to show you my favorite one. Of course, it's a win. But the reason why I'm showing it to you is not because of the win, but because of the how. He kept on playing this variation with early b5, which is playable, but it definitely carries a huge element of risk. Like, you really need to know your lines here against, for example, g3, because things can get really nasty very soon. He played this h5, h4 idea in 2 different games. One I won, one I lost, but I was winning in both. I don't really think that this is a good setup to play with black here at all. Anyway, 97 played. Of course, the engines would contradict everything I said, but yeah, engines, meh. Castles and h5. I would love to remove all the commentary, but I don't seem to be able to do that. Why is that? Anyway, I'm gonna leave it on. Yeah, it won't be too much of an interruption. Rook e1, you know where that is going. h4 and knight d5. Now, I did get a big fat question mark for that. I would play that move any day of the week, even when I know that it's really not that great. The engine prefers bishop g5 here. Like I said, this is where sometimes you need to have fun in life, enjoy chess, and do what feels right, especially in blitz, by the way. And this in particular, by the way, is typically a game that I really enjoyed, because by now I was in a state of I just let go and I just wanted to have my ultimate fun. And for me in chess, ultimate fun is to throw in the kitchen sink and go after them as if material was of, not secondary, but like 100th secondary consideration. And so, of course, by the way, h3, brilliant. Yeah, thank you, Chesscom. After knight g6, I immediately started reminiscing, because of course I did remember the Tal game. That was the first time I ever saw that, when I went through that Tal game in my youth. So I remembered that, and I just went like, yeah, this has to come. And again, you can see the engine disapproves. And would I play it any differently? I bet you I wouldn't, because this looks like fun, man. Like, take me. I dare you to take me. Of course, the captures are playable. excuse me, ED in particular is really bad because D6 ideas are going to come. I will be honest with you, by the way, and I don't mean to, you know, show off. I didn't even look at either of the captures because they looked so bad. Yeah, I mean, F6, hello. So yeah, the better question to ask is, how do you continue after this? And honestly, I don't have an answer. I just wanted to enjoy the position. The engine likes bishop e3 first, which is a more versatile move, because now I'm threatening to jump to 5,000 ways with the knight and then go bishop b6. Renier played here f6, which is a... Once again, you can see the strong connection here from both of us with the Tal Taimanov game is a blunder, and please excuse the many bad and blunders moves, but this is a blitz game, tremendous pressure on both players. Yeah, it's rough to play these games really well. I think I managed to... No, I didn't. Remove the annotation. Yeah, so I played bishop e3 now, which did get an exclamation mark, but when I turned on the engine here, I found something that nearly made me fall off my chair. And that was none other that, apart from bishop e3, which does look like an absolutely brutal game-winning move, I had an absolutely bananas move here. Like, there is absolutely not a chance I would come by this move. Well, definitely not in blitz. And that move is bishop h6. It's like, wow, man. Wow. And it appears that black doesn't have an adequate way to defend the g7 pawn. It's insane. Obviously, takes loses to queen h5. And after rook g8, knight f4, I just simply regain the piece on g6. Note that I can exploit the pin in more than one way. Whereas, for example, king f7 allows sexy moves like bishop takes, knight d6 check. And as you can see, the knights are having a field day here. So that's very cool as well. Anyway, played bishop e3, ed, king f7. And here I must admit, in hindsight, that the move I played was shamelessly ugly and ineffective and not forceful enough. Most importantly, not really in the spirit of the position. I just thought that I was so winning that I could get away with murder, but that is a synonym for I was lazy. Because not calculating and playing, in fact, d6 here is a cardinal sin in this position, because after takes, the queen d5 threat is so strong. And I would like to stress that it's mostly strong because it's almost mate. It's not even the rock. Alright, so yeah, I mean, after queen e8, which is the only way to deal with the check, I just play, I think bishop f4 is best here. Yeah, and then knight takes, and queen f3 is a marvelous line. Threatening discovered checks on the king, hitting the rook, and after knight c6 check. Now if the king comes this way, we have mate in 2. Not too shabby. 3. Queen can block on h5. If the king comes to e6, then the win is a little bit more elongated because we need to hunt down the rook and then win on material. I did not do this, and I regret that. I played a4. I had vague ideas of, you know, bringing the rook in via rook a4. There's an absolutely sensational game in my development course by Firuzja. He played it in the Dubai Open against, I think, a Serbian player, which was also a g3 Paulsen, and that was also really cool. Yeah, anyway, so I had some vague memories of that game too, but this is just a poor move. Knight e5 was played, f4 was played, knight c4, bishop d4. As you can see, every single move is a mistake. On my end, mostly by not playing d6. Bishop d4, g6, knight h4, bishop d6, and now we are coming to the party part of the game, which is also, by the way, a mistake by me, but I just couldn't resist. I already saw at this point the plan that I was gonna go for, which was queen g4, hitting g6, and after rook h6, I played very, very quickly rook e6. I started with b3 and then rook e6. And of course I did get a question mark, but again, it is very, very unlikely that I would play this game any differently. Because, I mean, who can resist playing a move like this when you see it, right? And it actually doesn't throw the win away. And, yeah, it is like a nuclear bomb. When you are on the receiving end of a move like this, the question mark doesn't pop up, right? What just goes through your head is that you are absolutely getting wiped off the board after sack, after sack, after sack. And it's just a really overwhelming thing to face that. And let's be honest, this army is utterly useless in defending. So I do believe in the power of these moves, and I definitely do not want to compare myself to Tal despite the slightly cheeky thumbnail, but he became a world champion on the back of similar ideas. Objectively speaking, bishop e4 would have created just untenable pressure. You can't really defend g6 because queen g8 simply hangs the knight on b6. But I couldn't resist rook e6 with some added pressure. Now, I'll show you the refutation. Very far from obvious. Takes and king e8 only move. This is the move that Renier didn't find. I hope I pronounced his name correctly, by the way. If not, I apologize. Yeah, king e8, bishop takes b7, rook a7. And here I found something absolutely sensational with the help of the engine. Because when I started analyzing it, I wanted to play here bishop g2. And yes, I'm a rook down, but I really like the position for white. The pieces are completely useless for black. The king is really exposed. And indeed, even after bishop g2, white is better here. The engine wanted me to play bishop f3, which looks very, very counterintuitive because it blocks, the queen's retreat. And I was really worried about f5. Turns out that's the very point of the bishop move, because now I can take, go check, bishop f5, bishop f8, deep breath, ready? Bishop check. And this is the reason, this line is the reason why you sometimes want to have a look at what the engine wants you to play and why. Because sometimes you come across some insane beauties like this. So the rook is deflected, allowing us to come to g6, king e7, bishop f6 check. It's a real pity, by the way, that there is no force mate there, but it is good enough. We're going to take the opponent's queen with a check, and virtually everything is hanging. Like, there is absolutely not a chance in a million years I would find the subtle difference between these two in a blitz game, not even in a rapid, and I would be very impressed with myself even in a long time control environment, mostly because it's very counterintuitive to put the bishop on f3. And by the way, f5 is by no means forced. That's in fact a blunder, but that's the most natural response. Rook here is best when apparently the bishop needs to slide back to e4. Good luck understanding all of this. Anyway, unfortunately for my grandmaster opponent, he opted to walk into the pin on the g file, and that was a very quick finish for us. Knight takes h6. Against bishop takes, I had a plan of knight f7 hitting queen and threatening mate in 2 or 3 if the king goes to g7, and I hope I was correct. Yes, the engine approves. He took back, and then after take bishop e4 again. I didn't know that this was a question mark exclam. What was the move? f5? Yes, f5. Same idea, but stronger execution because it shuts the rook out of the defense. My idea was that I was hoping to provoke f5, thus opening up the long diagonal and therefore allowing a mate, which is exactly what happened. By the way, just for the record, this is plus 10. And I still got a question mark. In fact, now it's made in 21. So, yeah. And my opponent did fall for my cheap trick, but no matter what, yeah, there is no way to defend the mate properly. the best is to go back and allow all this carnage city. So yeah, this, ladies and gentlemen, was 2 games for the theme of the double knight sacrifice in various Sicilian environments. Yeah, this is definitely a pleasant memory for me, this game, as far as the Blitz is concerned, and I definitely wouldn't have played these ideas. I mean, I have played them in the past, but seeing Tal doing it first when I was in my teens, when I saw that fabulous game with knight d5, knight f5, and you see that first, it leaves an impression, because it's so cool. Like, you really want to do it, and as you can tell, I am rather happy that I did end up doing something similar. When I pressed, by the way, review, I think I scored an accuracy of 77, and I don't remember ever being so happy with a game that scored 77 center pawn loss or accuracy level or whatever as this one. So yeah, on that note, guys, I will let you go. Thank you very much for tuning in today. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I will be back with the next video soon. Please don't forget to sub, to like, to comment, or to super thank me if you can. I will see you soon. Bye.